What's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at the brand new Flint 3 from GLInet. Now you might know GLInet as the company that makes the best travel routers in the world. Yes, I said it. They definitely make the best travel routers. I'll throw some links to those down in my description below, but it's time to take a look at the big boy. It's time to take a look at a router that can actually be used to serve internet in your home or small office. And that's going to be the BE9300 Wi-Fi 7 Tri-Band VPN openWRT router from GLInet. I'm not going to say that again. That definitely took a lot of breath from me, and I'm not going to do that anymore. But the Flint 3 for short is definitely a router that's going to be able to serve up the internet in just about any which way you want it to. Thanks to having openVPN and Wireguard built in, you can mask your location and you can really do the work from home thing when you're not really working from home, if you know what I'm saying. You can use this as a router, you can use this as a repeater, you can use this as an extender. And quite honestly, thanks to having 5 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports on the back, you could actually use this as a very affordable switch in your home. Now there's a lot of ways that you can use it. If you want to know any specific use case, ask me down in the comments down there. And while you're down there, subscribe, hit a like, leave another comment, and of course, check my links for the most up-to-date, relevant, and cheapest pricing available. If I can save you guys some coin with a coupon, I'll throw it down there as well. But back to the Flint 3, there's a bunch of ways that you can use this device, and you can even use this as a drop-in gateway. So if you want to add the AdGuard home ad blocking functionality to your already existing home network, or you want to add VPN capabilities to your already existing home network, you could use this in conjunction with that. You don't have to change out all of your equipment. Just go ahead, plug this in, and it's going to reroute all of your devices through the Flint 3, blocking those ads, setting up VPN, and doing a whole bunch more. So again, versatile is the name of the game when it comes to the Flint 3. And oh yeah, a lot of manufacturers don't include mounting holes on the back. So if you really wanted to set this up nicely, you could put this on the wall and get it out of the way. And if you're looking for a new router for your apartment or your small home or office, this is definitely one I'd recommend. There's only one thing that I wish GLInet would kind of improve, and I'll talk to you about that in just a little bit. But let's go ahead, set this up, check it out, and see what it's all about. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hardware before we set it up. So you do have your 4 antennas on the top. You have a little bit of air holes right on the front there. It's an actual decent looking device. It actually is pretty well made as well. It doesn't feel overly cheap. You do have these antennas that fold out, so you could go ahead and fold these out, or when you're not using the device, just fold it right on top of itself. You have a USB 3 port right on the side here. So plugging in that USB modem or plugging in a pen drive will give you access to those files. And then on the back, what's pretty awesome, again, this is a multi-WAN capable device. So you do have a 2.5 gigabit WAN port as well as 4 2.5 gigabit LAN ports. If you're not using the WAN for your internet and you're actually using this as a repeater, you can change that WAN into a LAN. And if you do want to use a dual WAN setup, you can change LAN 1 into WAN 2. So again, these 2 ports can be used for internet. And then these 3 devices can be internet out, or you can create all internet out type of situations. So this could be a perfect 2.5 gigabit switch if that's what you wanted to use it for. Here's a little reset button right there, and here's your power input right here. And that's basically it when it comes to the overall hardware of the Flint 3 device. Pretty cool that you can put the antennas up or lay them completely vertical and put this on the wall. But in any event, guys, let's go ahead, set this up, check it out together, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on the Flint 3. Let's just quickly walk you through the setup process, and there's a couple ways that you can set up your brand new Flint 3. I'm old school, I like the web interface, so I always recommend that you guys do that. But I know a lot of you feel a little bit more comfortable using an application on your smartphone, and let's be realistic, it's just a lot easier using your smartphone. But again, sometimes you can get a little bit more functionality and a few more advanced features while using the web interface. So all you have to do is choose which way you want to set up your Flint 3, either with your smartphone and the GLInet application, or by going into 192.168.8.1 and setting up your brand new device that way. So again, let's continue with the web interface, and I'm going to show you how to set it up, run some tests, and then give you my final thoughts on use of the Flint 3 Wi-Fi 7 VPN router from GLInet. So guys, the first thing we need to do, of course, is to set up my admin password. Just go ahead and click on Next. And then here you're presented with all 3 of your wireless networks that you can configure and set up on your own. So I'm just gonna, you know what, let's just go ahead and create some names here. So I'm just gonna call this one Jabber 2.4. Here's my 5 gigahertz network. Let's be very original with this one and call it Jabber-5G. And again, let's keep that creativity going with Jabber 6G right there. And then with dynamic bandwidth, again, if you're in an area that has a lot of interference around you, I would recommend that you guys turn this one on, or if you just have a lot more Wi-Fi 7 devices in your home, this is always a good idea just to go ahead and click on it. So let's go ahead and click on next and wait a few seconds for the GLInet router to do its thing. Now, before we continue on with the setup process, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm not going to cover how to go through on this video, and it's mainly because I did a deep dive with their brand new Wi-Fi 7 travel router. That's going to be that Slate 7, which I highly recommend you guys also pick up if you're that road warrior and you do a lot of traveling. And it's just going to be a lot of redundancy, and that was about a 30-minute video. So for all of the deep dive into all of these settings, I will leave a link down in the description below there for you guys to click on. In this video, I'm just going to kind of briefly touch over all of the settings here, show you how to set up some of the more key features of this router. And again, it's a great home router. It's a great drop-in gateway if you already have an existing system and you just want to add some extra functionality, like getting that adguard home to block all of those ads in your home, or adding VPN functionality. You can always do that drop-in gateway mode with the Flint 3 device here. So right out the gate, I already have an update. So let's just go ahead and update this so we get all the latest fixes and whatnot. We just finished the update, and I do have to give GLInet credit. They're really setting up some sort of guide to help people who don't watch my videos on how to set up their products. It's not really all that difficult, guys. It's actually really simple, but I know for a lot of you out there, you just need a little extra help. And thanks to my videos and thanks to the GLInet guides, you can always get up and running in basically minutes. Now, the traditional way to set up the Flint 3 is going to be to plug in an Ethernet cable from your modem directly to the WAN port on the back of the device. And again, I really like that you can configure the WAN ports to work as a LAN port. It just gives you extra functionality if you're using it in repeater mode. That means that you're going to have 5 2.5 gig ports that you can play with, making this a perfect switch type of situation. So if you just wanted to create a little bit extra coverage in your home or small office, maybe you need more coverage for your backyard this season. If you set it up in repeater mode, it's going to grab that internet from your existing Wi-Fi router and then just kind of rebroadcast it, giving you again more range thanks to the Wi-Fi 7 functionality of the Flint 3. And it's also going to free up that Ethernet port and give you again 5 LAN ports to play with. And this way, if you have any printers or if you have any Shield TVs, Apple TVs that you don't want to work on Wi-Fi, you can always just plug it into these ports on the back while in repeater mode. So again, think of repeater mode as kind of grabbing Wi-Fi and then just rebroadcasting it and giving you a full functional router in the same process there. Now, another way you can set this up, I personally do not have a way to test this as my phone plan does not give me tethering, so I'm not able to test this. But if you connect your phone or a 3G, 4G USB modem to it, you can also get internet that way. So again, any of you that have tested this out, let me know how that works for you down in the comments below. But we're going to set this up as a regular Ethernet device because that's how I'm going to get internet to this. So let's just click on exit, and then you can see right now my WAN is providing internet to the Flint 3 here. What I like about GLInet products is you always get a graphical interface and a graphical representation of what's going on with your router or your device, and it's just easy to navigate, and it's really easy to just quickly pinpoint what you want to see when you come to this landing page. So what I like about it is right away you can see Ethernet 1 is providing internet to the GLInet product, and on the other side you can see I have my clients connected, 2 wireless clients and 1 LAN client. Now in the middle, you'll be able to see some of your more advanced features, like if you have adguard home enabled, here's your IP6 protocol, VPN, and Tor as well. On the bottom as well, you see the status of all of your 8 wireless networks. Yes, the Flint 3 can provide up to 8 wireless networks, and it's a great way to separate, say, your kids from your own devices, or to separate your work computers, your work devices from your play devices. Again, having more wireless networks these days is coming more and more useful and more handy. And this is probably the most I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen 8 wireless networks, and I'm going to go over what those are in just a little bit as well. Because again, this is a Wi-Fi 7 router, so you do have that multi-link operation mode. And that's going to be my wireless network, my MLO network right here. And you also do have your 5G, your 2.4, as well as your guest network. So again, 8 wireless networks is absolutely insane. Now scrolling down, this is where you get to see information again, how you're getting internet. Now what I'm going to do is just disconnect my Ethernet cable on the back there and set this up using repeater mode just to kind of show you guys how you can do it. I know some people get a little bit confused, so all we have to do is click on connect, and this is going to search for wireless networks that are around you. And once you know the password, you can go ahead and enter it. And yes, this does work with captive portals. So if you did want to connect to a network that required some sort of login before you got access to the internet, this does handle captive portals quite well. So let's let this scan for some wireless networks around me, and hopefully I'll find one that I can join. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on apply, and that's as easy as it gets when it comes to setting up repeater mode. And yes, this will remember wireless networks that you've already connected to, so you don't have to continually insert or input that same password. Taking a look at our wireless options, this is worth mentioning, and GLInet has done a great job of giving us a ton of different network settings that we can play with here. Now you do have your multi-link operation mode, and this is going to be your MLO network, which works great with Wi-Fi 7 clients. And it's basically going to be your super highway to speed and reliability, thanks to combining all of the three bands here. So remember, this is a tri-band router, so it is going to combine the 2.4, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz channel to give you the fastest and most reliable speed. Again, this is going to work only with your Wi-Fi 7 clients. It's not going to work with your other devices, but this is backwards compatible, so don't worry about that. You can see you have a dedicated 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi channel, a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi channel, as well as your 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi channel, perfect for all of those old IoT devices. And with each of these wireless frequencies, you also do get that guest mode, and you can see all of them have different guest options as well. And I love the fact that we have multiple names, multiple passwords, so you can really set this up. And for example, if you wanted to put all of your kids on a guest network so that they don't have access to your work computers, or they don't have access to your NAS drives, setting up a guest network with that access point isolation is a great way to do that, and that's automatically enabled out of the box. And that just means that anyone connected to your guest network does not have access to your main network. You can turn that off if that's something you want to do. Again, GLInet gives you a ton of different options when it comes to setting up this device here. Let's go over the VPN settings, and again, for a deep dive in more of these settings, check out my link down below. But a lot of people always ask me the difference between a client and a server, and the simplest way to explain that is a client is you connecting to some sort of VPN company or to your work's VPN, and a server is basically you becoming that VPN service, that VPN company. And what I like about this is not only can you run it both at the same time, but I know a lot of us like to save money and like to save coin when we can. And speaking of saving coin, if you want to connect to NordVPN, which is my recommended VPN service, I can save you about 70% with my link down below. I'm not sponsored in any way. I just like showing you guys what services I use because I've used them for a very, very long time, and they're really, really fast, as we're going to see with some speed tests. But a VPN company, sometimes their IP addresses do get leaked, and they are known for being VPNs. So your company might say, hey, it looks like you're on a VPN service. That's not allowed. We don't accept that. Now, the great thing to do if you wanted your own VPN, you can do this combo punch, a 1-2 GLInet punch. Get one of their travel routers, set up your VPN server on your Flint 3 here, and all you have to do is click on enable after doing the initial setup process. And then no matter where you are in the world, once you connect back with your GLInet travel router to the Flint 3, it's going to show as your home IP address. And again, no one is ever going to know that you're using a VPN. This is just the perfect way to mask your location. So for those of you that are still trying to work remotely or trying to get on that vacation, but you still have to do some work to pay for that vacation, setting up your own VPN server is a great way to do that. And again, it's the free option, really. You are becoming that VPN service, and no one's really going to know that you're using a VPN. But for those of you that want to connect to a VPN company, let's go ahead and show you how to do that. Now, if we click on Setup Now, GLInet make this really easy once again, guys. And these are some companies that they've worked with to kind of give you a one-click type of setup. You can always upload your own manual configuration if you want to do that. But let's click on NordVPN. Now for NordVPN, you do need to get a token. Once you've logged into your NordVPN account, again, here's a dedicated IP. So if you guys didn't want to go through the trouble of setting up your own server, getting another device, etc., having a dedicated IP is gonna secure you with an IP address that can't be tracked back to Nord. So this might be a good option for you guys if you wanted to do that. But right now we're talking about getting our access token, and it's right down here at the bottom. So once you get your access token, all you have to do is enter it back into the GLInet settings page, and that is basically it. Very, very simple. And now you just choose the region that you want to connect to. And there's tons of regions, guys. NordVPN has companies, regions, etc., etc. But I'm just going to go down to the United States just for fun. And let's see, here's New York, whatever. I'm just going to select all for New York, click on apply. You can always change the server location later on just by going to update servers. And then you can choose a new server. So for example, where's good old Canada? Let's click on Canada, Montreal, select all, click on apply. And now you'll see all of my New York as well as my Montreal servers right here. And then you just select on one to connect to it. So let's just go here, click on start. And then if we go back to our VPN dashboard, you can see that I'm already connected to my Montreal server. You can see how easy it is to set up your WireGuard. And it's just the same with openVPN. You can just click on NordVPN. And this time you do just have to enter in your credentials. I'm not really going to go over openVPN. WireGuard is definitely the way to go. And now if we want to switch, let's switch to New York. I'm going to click on apply here. Let's go to speedtest.com, and matter of fact, I did forget to set up adguard, so I will come back to this in just a little bit. But let's just click on go and see what our speeds are going to be with WireGuard here. So with WireGuard on NordVPN, you can see I'm getting some very, very fast speeds, guys. I'm getting almost into the 600s, and that's something you cannot get from an openVPN server. So right now you can see super, super fast. But let's go back because I just want to enable adguard home to get rid of all of those ads. And it's very simple. Let's go ahead and click on apply. Let's go ahead and handle client requests. Click on apply right there. Now you do have to set up some of the features, and it's pretty simple, but for a deep dive, there's a lot of other videos on YouTube that are going to show you how to do that. But let's go into filters, go into block list. Let's add some more block list here, and it's pretty simple. Click on add block list. So now if we go back to speedtest.net, let's go back to SpeedTest. You can see that all of those ads are now blocked. And again, this is going to speed up your internet traffic. And if you're on a limited connection, whereas you only have a certain amount of allotment of internet data, this is going to really block those ads and save that data for something else that you need. Just going to click on SpeedTest one more time and make sure that we still are getting a very, very fast connection. And right out the gate, you can see I'm getting into the 500s. It's probably going to end out at that 600 as well. Let's get off of that VPN client because I want to do a one-to-one speed test. I don't want to have any other service that might slow me down. So if we go back here, you can see my VPN is disconnected. So let's go back to speedtest.net. And now I am connected to my home network. You can see here T-Mobile. Let's go ahead and click on go and see what type of speeds we're going to get. So with my VPN disabled, you can see my speeds are still about the same. I'm getting about 600 and almost 700 down. So using a VPN connection, I lost about 100 meg. Definitely not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But let's go ahead and see the wired versus wireless connection. And I am sitting right next to the GLInet router, so I'm not far at all. So this should just give us a good idea of how those antennas are working. So download is 727, upload is about 180. Now let's do the same test on my smartphone right here, guys. Let's go to speedtest.net on my smartphone. So there we go, refreshing the MLO network. I'm definitely yielding some much better speeds. I'm probably going to hit that 700. So you can see there, I'm doing a good job of maintaining that fast connection. Now we're going to do another test, and I'm about 30 feet away from the router. There's also a whole bunch of different plugins. This is an openWRT router. Now, I've personally, in all the years that I've been using GLInet products, I think I started about 8 years ago, to be quite honest, and I do have a video for my very first product. I'll leave that down in the comments down below just for fun. I've never installed a plugin. It's not something that I need, but if you guys need a plugin, there's a way that you can find what you need to install. You can also have a dynamic DDNS service running as well. Network storage is a great option. You can plug in a pen drive to that back or a hard drive to the USB port on the Flint 3. Get access to all of those files. If you're using this in a work situation, you can share files that way. Or if you're doing work remotely and you want to get files on a drive, thanks to having tailscale and zero tier, you can connect back to your GLInet router and again access those files that way. I'm a huge fan of tailscale. I have it on all of my devices, and I am happy to see that it's here as well. You can also use tailscale as an exit node, and with an exit node you can connect to all of your local devices that are connected to your Flint 3 from no matter where you are in the world. Tailscale again is a great product. If you want to know more about it, let me know down in the comments below. I might do a video for you guys. Now going to network, there's a whole bunch of features that you have on just about every router. You do have port forwarding. So if you want to enable port forwarding, you could do that. And the great thing is you can also port forward from your VPN clients or servers and your guest network. I mean, it's fully fledged when it comes to all of your settings. So if I go to VPN, my VPN client, let's click on Wireguard. I'm just going to connect a port 442, and let's just do this really quickly. Click on apply, and then again you get a nice little graphical representation of what's happening. I actually really like this graphical representation. It's a quick way to come back and see what you've set up and just quickly, easily change it. There also are parental controls if you needed that sort of setup in your life. So there is Bark version. Now this is going to be an extra paid subscription if you guys wanted to do that. And there is the free option as well. So if you wanted to set up a free option, you could do that. Set up profiles and define what you want to block and how you want to block it. What do I think about the Flint 3 after testing it? I think this is a great device for anybody that's in an apartment situation or small home situation. Unfortunately though, as you saw, the speed and range combination when you get just a little bit further away just isn't there. It's just not powerful enough for me personally. If you have a smaller abode, this is going to be a great addition for you. But I'm actually going to use this in a little bit of a different way because again, we get 5 2.5 gig ports on the back, so you can use this as a switch in your home. You don't have to buy an expensive switch that's going to just give you a couple ports. You can actually buy this device for just a little bit cheaper than that and get so much more functionality. So what I'm going to use this for, I'm going to use this as a repeater. I'm going to put this here in my office, repeat my network, and I'm also going to use those 5 ports on the back here. So I'm going to be able to give a little bit of Ethernet goodness to some other devices that I might have here in the office. And that is a great use case for the Flint 3 here. Again, adding VPN capabilities to my existing equipment, or just being able to block those ads very easily without any programming, without any extra work. Just makes the Flint 3 the perfect device. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments and I'll try and answer them the best that I can.